Today we are going to be reading a Reddit story from r/Am I the A-hole? This is from Issue Family Yak 9767. It says, "Am I the a-hole for telling my kids that my wife isn't going anywhere? And if she isn't welcome, then I'm not coming. My wife and I got divorced when all of the kids were adults. The marriage wasn't a good one, and I stayed for the kids, basically, which I regret. I will call her Pearl for this. We both worked, but she found no joy in her job. It was constant arguing, and she was extremely unpleasant towards me after a bad day. She also had habits of addictive behavior. She would become obsessed with something and do it 24/7. She lost multiple jobs this way. When I divorced her, she went off the deep end. She fell heavily into alcohol and passed away after she got in a car accident. She was drunk." That's really sad. "The kids were already taking the divorce badly, and her death after was really bad. I offered to pay for counseling, but they refused. They blame me for their mom passing. Dating made it worse. They believe I am replacing their mom, and when I married, they became nasty about it. My wife has done nothing to them, and they are dicks to her. I have spoken to them multiple times, and they know." I think that he kind of put a typo here. I think it says, "I have spoken to them multiple times, and they know to be civil to her face," or it says they know civil to her face. So maybe he meant they've been uncivil to her face. I don't know. But he says they're dicks to her, so okay. "The issue? My daughter is having her engagement dinner, and I am the only one that was invited. When I asked, she told me that it was only for family, and my wife isn't family. I told her that my wife isn't going anywhere, and if she is not invited, then I am not going. This started an argument, and she is pissed. My other kids are telling me that they feel the same way, and she isn't family. I brought up that if I could not invite their significant other to things, because apparently marriage doesn't make them family either, and they told me that that was different. I'm holding strong on this, but they all think I am a dick. The divorce," so he put in, I guess, an edit, and it says the timeline from my comments. "The divorce took about a year and a half to be finalized, then Pearl passed away about a year and a half after, so 3 years after I brought up the divorce. I was dating my now wife when Pearl passed away. I married her around 2.5 years after my wife's passing, and my daughter got engaged about a year and a half after they got married. So 7 years after the divorce, and I moved out 4 years since Pearl's death." So, is he the asshole? I don't think he is, but there's a lot here, so I have experience with alcoholism in the family and stuff like that, and I understand the kids feeling like it's his fault that their mom died, even though it's not. It doesn't logically follow that, that she died because of him. However, when you have a spouse who is in active addiction and you leave, in a way, maybe you're drawing a boundary, maybe you are leaving for your own sanity, and that's a healthy thing to do. He said that he stayed for the kids and he regretted it. That's it's not really a good thing to do, because the longer you stay, the longer that the kids are being exposed to that. So I think that overall the timeline was reasonable. It's not like he was, cheating on her or anything like that. But this is a super traumatic series of events for the kids. They grew up in an alcoholic family, so they're gonna have some problems with like reasoning. They are adult children of an alcoholic, and that makes it harder for you to sort of act as an adult when you are physically grown up. So like one of the commenters said, not the a-hole. However, is this a hill you want to die on? You can't replace your relationship with your children. Very true. But then someone else replied to that comment and said, his kids need to stop redirecting their grief onto him and his wife and get counseling, and they are adults and they should act like it. While he can't replace a relationship with his kids, should he allow him and his wife to be a punching bag over his ex-wife passing away from her own bad decisions? And it's like, you're right, but like, there's a more gentle way to deal with this. Like, I would be interested to hear some of the kids' side of the story. Like, what was it like growing up in that house? He stayed for all those years with his wife, struggling with maybe, some ADHD symptoms or something like that. He said that she would get really into something, like hyperfixate on something and just do it 24/7. And like, he's standing by and watching her be in active addiction, as he says. And he did nothing about it, and he allowed his kids to be exposed to that. Well, yeah, now you're suffering the repercussions of that. Your kids are physically, legally adults, but you're having relational problems with them now because of the dysfunction that was in the family. And you are responsible for that, sir. You're the dad. Like, you were the adult. You were one of the adults in the situation, and you allowed that situation to be going on throughout their childhood. So yes, you bear some responsibility to that, and whether or not you attend her engagement party alone or with your wife, like, okay, that's a boundary. If you don't want to go, if it's not that important to you to be at your daughter's engagement party, it sounds like it's important to her. She wants you to be there, but she doesn't feel comfortable with your new wife being there, and you need to like unpack that with her. She needs to be heard. And so he says, I'm holding strong, but they all think I'm a dick. Well, it could be your delivery. It could be how you're handling the situation, the way that, like, are you telling your kids, like, oh, just get over it or whatever? Or are you being, like, an emotionally safe person for them to tell you their feelings, and you're hearing them, and, there's a way to work this out. He said he offered to pay for counseling, and like, good, but he should definitely go to counseling and do his own thing and get his own counseling, because he needs it too. I would also recommend like Al-Anon. I would recommend ACA for the kids, because they are adult children of alcoholics, or of an alcoholic, and so there was probably dysfunction in the home, and that stuff needs to be addressed and unpacked. So anyways, what do you think? Leave a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the situation. But overall, I would say not the a-hole.